Hello YouTube, hello Daggerr community. Today we're going to have a review on this big, let's say, sword, or maybe a pike, or maybe I don't know, a huge folding knife, which is called Parrot. That's personally mine, with the red, I would say wine burgundy. It's not directly red, it's like wine burgundy, micarta handle and a stone wash blade. But in a few minutes we'll go in a deep look of this knife with all the specifications and comparison to the previous release and to other colors. Stay tuned. Okay, now let's have a closer look to the Parrot knives. I will start with the red handle, red micarta handle and stone wash blade. Well, regarding the specs, regarding the characteristics, the length of the blade is 4.75 inches. In a closed position, it's 6 inches, and overall length, it's a pretty big knife. Overall length is 10.75 inches. So the weight of this knife, nevertheless, that it's so big, okay, so it's a pretty big, chunky, really good knife. The weight is 5.6 ounces, so that's not heavy, and actually for EDC, everyday carry, actually I do not feel any uncomfortability, any discomfort. So currently in my hand I have all black version. So as you can see here we have black micarta and black wash blade. And the steel is, of course, as on majority of our knife, is D2. And the third version is the black micarta and stone wash blade. Well, you know, me personally, I love this one, but all of them are great. Why I do have here the blue one? Actually, for comparison. Let's compare. This is the Parrot of the previous release, and let's see the differences. Currently, we do not have actually the blue scales. Well, first of all, it's a G10, as you can see. Here we have a micarta, and here is a G10. Actually, type in the comment which one you prefer more, micartas or G10, because G10 actually is a little bit heavier. Yes, due to this we actually reduce the knife. Let's say in a cold weather, let's say in Russia now it's winter and it's very cold, micarta is actually, in my feeling, is more warmer because of basically probably of warm transpassability. But what are the differences? Well, first difference with the first release and the second release is the hole that you have here. So as you can see, now there is a hole and there is a screw, stop screw, that you need to unscrew from here. We will show it in the video, and put it here. And after this, your knife will become fixed blade. It will not close, okay? And on the first releases we didn't have this. Second was the difference is actually in the jimping on this part of the blade. In the first run, as you can see, there is no jimping, but on the second edition already there is a jimping. Jimping is pretty comfortable. Actually, it's we listened to you guys. We received the feedback that adding jimping here would be very comfortable, and we did it, and it works really nicely. That's how the jimping looks like on a black wash blade. Now, what else? What are other differences? So the jimping, the possibility to turn the knife into the fixed blade, and of course, I will show it here. The clip is reversible, but in a previous knife, there was no actually milled part there. So when you were reversing the clip, the level of the clip was a little bit was coming out from the handle, and now we actually added the milling over there, and it allows you to have the same, the level will be the same as the handle. So these are some minor, let's say, changes, differences of the first and the second one. Type actually which one you prefer, the blue one or G10 or the micarta one. Now here is actually the Parrot that I did for my personal reasons. We do not sell Parrots like this. As you can see here, it is a red micarta and the black wash blade and black hardware. How you like this type of knife? Maybe if you like this, maybe we will try to make this type of Parrots for the next release as well. And yeah, the glass breaker. The glass breaker on this knife, let me show you this one, is actually pretty workable. Actually this part, yes, yeah, you can see it, it actually cuts the glass. It's really hard, much harder than the hardness of the steel here. I think the hardness here is close to 80 HRC. Okay, now let's disassemble this knife and let's look how it looks inside. Okay guys, let's have a quick disassembling and assembling video. To disassemble the Parrot knife, we will need Torx 6 flat screw, I'm gonna use from Victorinox, and Torx 8. First, to disassemble the knife, we need actually to unscrew the skull breaker or a glass breaker. So first of all, I'm going to unscrew this part. Then we are using Torx 6 to unscrew this screw to release the clip. Next, we are unscrewing this, also using this screw using the Torx 6. And stop screw with a flat screw, flat head. And now for the pivot screw, I'm going to use the Torx 8. So the knife is actually unscrewed, so I can now disassemble the knife easily. So that's the... Let's take out the handle first. Here is the handle, here is the liner, blade, ball bearings, spacer, and another ball bearing and the pivot screw. So just quickly to show how it looks inside, as you can see, I just need it's a liner lock but with the button. So actually we already had a video about this. So it works actually in the following way. Let me just imitate. So here when the knife is open, as you can see, so that's the lock. The liner locks the blade. So when you press the button, it releases the blade and you can close it. And also, as you can see, here is the hole and here is another hole in the liner. So when the knife is open, you can take out, as we showed in the previous video, you can take out this stop screw and you push it here. And after this, the blade will not move anywhere. So that's actually all the construction, how it looks inside. Now let's actually step by step, let's assemble this knife again. So what will be the procedure? So first we take the pivot screw, we put it here. And then on the pivot screw you need to put the ball bearing. Next we take the blade, we install the blade and spacer. So blade, and once the blade and spacer are installed, we need to take another liner. Let me take it out. Yeah. So we take the liner and don't forget to put the ball bearing, otherwise the knife will have a blade play. So we take the liner and make sure that it fits in every place where the holes are. Yeah, like this. You can easily feel it when you're pressing it. So once it's done, then you take the micarta handle and add it here. So first you go with the pivot screw. It's not necessary at this stage to screw tightly, you just screw it so that the knife will not go anywhere. Then you take this screw with the flat head and also just a little tighten. Yeah, and you take the Torx 6, also not heavily tighten, so that basically liners are screwed. After this you will be actually adjusting the mechanics of the knife. So let's now make the pivot screw adjustment. Yeah, let's now here, good. It's already perfectly centered and the action is good. Little blade play. Yeah, now it's perfect. So what we do, we take now the clip and we press here, we screw here with Torx 6. Ready? And glass breaker. Okay, ready. Now let's just make some tight, a little bit more. And final step is tightly screw this one. Yeah. So that's how you can unscrew, or not unscrew, but how you can disassemble the knife in order to clean it, service it. But don't forget that we actually have this service maintenance for free for all the Daggerr knife owners, but I understand that sending from US maybe or from Europe it can take time, but sometimes we actually received the knife for the servicing. Okay, now we are testing this knife on products. So today we are also going to produce some, not produce, but prepare some sandwiches. Today I'm going to cut tomato first. Well, don't be actually amazed, because in Moscow in winter tomatoes are very basically plastic, but we are looking how the knife can actually cut slice. As you can see, I'm cutting really thin, so even though the knife is 4 millimeters, the weights, its thickness is pretty big, but if you want you can actually cut, as you can see, very, very thin. So no problem at all to cut like this. Oh, sorry. Now let's move to other products. Cheese, Parmigiano. We are going to cut. Not Italian, it's Russian. Well, it's handy, but due to the thickness of the blade, of course the product has bigger resistance. But no problem at all to cut, it's comfortable. If I compare it with the Rhina has less resistance, because the blade is 3 millimeters, not 4, and the shape of the grind is almost full flat grind, so that's why it has less resistance. But due to the length of the blade, and the size of the knife, working with Parrot is more comfortable. And it easily can be seen here when I'm cutting salami. Okay, so that's the salami cutting, as you can see. And for comparison, you see the blade is almost the same size as the salami. So cutting with Reiner salami is less comfortable, but the blade itself has less resistance due to geometry of the blade. And the final test, the bread. Okay, so let's cut the bread. Oh, perfect. Yeah, so no problem. It's a long blade, big knife, very comfortable. Even though it's 4 millimeters, it's very sharp out of the box, has a high flat grind, and you see it cuts really nicely the bread. If I will take the same Reiner, it will be less comfortable, and in the bread I do not actually really feel a bigger resistance. So the bread I would give 5 points to Parrot, and let's say 4 or 3 even points to Reiner. But on other products, let's say by resistance, the Reiner has less resistance, but the Parrot is much more comfortable. So basically, if I would be choosing the only one knife which I will have, if the question is I need to have only one folding knife, I'm for sure going for the Parrot, because it's big, more universal, it is more pointy, so it can be yeah, that's more universal knife. So if the question is to take only one knife, I will go for Parrot. But if you are actually, of course, collecting, you are depending on your outfit, you are you want to have different knives, then no problem. And yeah, as you can see, the product test is very, I think the Parrot did it on excellent. Great. I don't know, for me it's a very, very good knife with a fidget factor. I can sit actually and play like this for hours. So thank you for being here, actually. Thank you for watching this video. We already, if you are actually already owner of Parrot, please type below how you like this knife. What do you think? And if not, also type your comments below. What do you think about this knife? I think personally this is a really, really good knife. Both tactical, self-defense, with a EDC. Even though it's a big, it's really it's really comfortable actually to carry, and also it has a great fidget factor. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.